Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in. And what I'm going to do today is step you very quickly through the process that I use and some of my clients use to customize and tailor their resumes so that they are aligned with the requirements of the job for which they intend to apply. Now, why is this important? The reason is that pretty much every recruitment consultant, executive search consultant, hiring manager, and HR professional will tell you that it's critical and even essential to customize or tailor your resume according to the requirements of the job. And there are two reasons for this. The first is that the applicant tracking systems that almost every recruitment firm uses and many large employers use will, first of all, look at your resume before it's read by a human being. And what that means is the applicant tracking software will compare what you say about yourself in your resume with what is required in that particular role. And if you're not a good match according to the ATS, you might be rejected for roles for which you are perfectly suited. And ain't that a shame? And this is indeed what happens to lots of people. I have clients who've come to me and said, I've applied for 173 jobs and got 2 interviews. And those interviews weren't really for jobs that I really wanted or companies that I wanted to work in. So this is why this business of tailoring and customizing your resume is so important. Now, the issue that a lot of people tell me about is that it takes a long time, it's frustrating, it's difficult, it's energy sapping, it takes hours and 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 hours, all of those things. So what that means is that they either don't do it at all or they give up part of the way through and just send in a generic resume, and a generic resume is not going to get you to where you want to go. So what I've tried to do is come up with a method or approach that will make the job of customizing the resume a lot simpler, easier, faster, less stressful, less time consuming, all of those things. So here's the go. And what we'll be doing today is just focusing on a particular type of job. And it happens to be an IT program manager because I'm working with a client right now who is interested in applying for IT program manager's job. So the first thing you do is open ChatGPT. Shock horror. Now, I'm not saying that ChatGPT should be used to compose the content of your resume, far from it. Recruiters will know that you've used ChatGPT and they don't take too kindly to it. So it's not using ChatGPT to write or compose the content of your resume because it can't. Because ChatGPT doesn't know what you have achieved or what you have contributed, what value you've added, what difference you've made, because that is unique to you. So how do we use ChatGPT? Well, first of all, I've asked ChatGPT a question. What are the skills, experience, and personal attributes that are needed in or are required of a program manager? And it's given me a list of the technical skills, the leadership and interpersonal skills, the experience, and the personal attributes required of typically required of a program manager. And that's very useful because all you do then is copy and paste the output that ChatGPT provides you with into your resume document, because that's your starting point. That tells you the kind of information that you need to be providing the organization or to the recruiter that's relevant to the position that you want to apply for. Okay, so I'm just going to share a screen with you. I hope it shows up, and it's the answer to the question: what are the skills, experience, and personal attributes required of an IT program manager? So you'll see a quick summary, the technical skills required, project program management skills, leadership, interpersonal, the experience, personal attributes that are required, and so on and so forth. So what you do is you select and then copy and paste all of that information and copy and paste it into your resume document. Now, what this does is give you the starting point. And this is important because what ChatGPT has done is scoured the internet for information about the skills and requirements and expertise needed in a program manager's job. So this is probably about, somewhere between maybe 80% right, which is typically what I found. And what you then do is you populate your skills section in your resume, or your areas of expertise section, whichever you want to call it, and include all of this information in there, modifying and customizing and tailoring it and adapting it accordingly. And then you copy and paste it again into the different jobs you've had, or underneath the jobs. So when you talk about each of the jobs that you've had, you start off by talking about the purpose of the job, what it was designed to achieve, what the key priorities were, and then you want to talk about your achievements, what you contributed. So underneath each of the requirements that you've copied and pasted into your resume document, you then communicate, articulate, summarize the things that you have achieved or contributed to the organization that are relevant to those particular skills. So, for example, if you have skills in cybersecurity, then you'll talk about what have you achieved in relation to improving the organization's cybersecurity and reducing cybersecurity risks and so on and so forth to ensure the security of IT systems and data throughout the program. And you do that for each and every one of the requirements of the job. And that's pretty much 70% of the whole exercise, because what you've now done is you've created a resume that is completely relevant to the job of an IT program manager. Now, to do a bit of a sanity check, and I've shared another screen, which is just me looking up a project manager's job and working out what it is that this particular job requires. And I'm now going to compare the criteria for this job with what I've got in my resume and see if there's anything that's missing, if there's anything that's special that I haven't found via ChatGPT, and incorporate that back into the document. And then I will do it again for a couple of other jobs until I find that I'm getting a lot of overlap and a lot of repetition. So, for example, if every program manager job requires, experience in a particular industry or a particular toolkit or a particular areas of expertise and so on and so forth, then I must make sure that that's also incorporated into, for example, in this particular job, it says they're looking for strong analysis skills, problem solving, project management, time management skills. And I look at the document that I've just begun creating and then make sure that that is incorporated. So once you've done this for 2 or 3 occasions, 2 or 3 different jobs, then you'll find that you've covered pretty much every base. And then you can be fairly confident that your resume will be aligned to the requirements of the job. That means that the applicant tracking system will give you a big tick and recommend that you be put through to the next stage. And the recruitment consultant or hiring manager will also then understand that you have customized your resume according to the requirements of the job, which is a real bonus. And they like that. They know that it's not a generic resume. They know that it's a resume customized for their requirements. And that is very important and very valuable to you, because it means that you're more likely to get towards the top of the list. And then when you apply for a particular or specific job, then you go to the LinkedIn ad or the Seek ad or the Indeed ad for that job, go through the experience and qualifications required, and then make sure that everything that they're looking for is included in that job. Now, 90% of it will already, because you've done a good job using ChatGPT and LinkedIn. And so let's say you're applying for this particular job, program manager with InterSystems, and they're looking for someone, who can drive productivity. Now, if productivity is not included in your existing resume, you've got to add that back in. Leading large groups of people, for example, it's one of the requirements of this particular job. Now, if that's not included in the resume document that you are creating, then incorporate that back in. So there'll be a little bit of finessing, fine-tuning, and additional input required, but not a heck of a lot. Now, the document that you have just produced is called a massively oversized resume. It'll never see the light of day. It's not something you want to share with recruiters or employers. It's simply the base document from which you will spin off different versions of your resume related to, aligned with, congruent with the requirements of each job that you're applying for. Now, building the massively oversized resume will take some time, no question. However, if you've done it once and you've spent 2, 3, 4 hours doing it, every time you apply for a job, you're probably going to need somewhere between 15 and 30 minutes. Now, you shouldn't be applying for hundreds of jobs anyway. You should be targeting your application so that you're only applying for, a handful or a couple of handfuls of jobs at the one time. But it'll make this process of customizing your resume much, much simpler, more straightforward, less complicated, and less time consuming and less frustrated. And then you can go forth into the marketplace confident that the resume you've produced is relevant to that particular job. Okay, thank you very, very much for tuning in today, and hopefully this has been relevant and important and useful to you. However, if you do need more information, or you want clarification, or you want to have a chin wag about it, or you want me to help you or something like that, then I'm on LinkedIn. Get in touch, connect if you're not already connected, and we'll see what needs to be done. In the meantime, take care and have a good whatever you're having. Cheers, bye.